Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. And in this tutorial of AutoCAD Real Beginners, I will show you how to use your properties panel. And the properties panels is as it says itself. It has options to set properties to specific objects. And every object have a different property depending on what you have selected. So let's say if I have a circle, the properties of my circle will be different than the properties of my line, for instance. So I will show you then how to use your property panel. So stay tuned for this video, guys. Welcome back, guys. Now the properties panel has a couple, quite a few options. Well, not very much options, actually, I meant to say. Now I have drawn these lines right here with different properties, and these properties are set first of all from the layer you have selected. So if I go and select this line right here, you can see it has the properties in my properties, or you can right click and go on properties, and right we have our color of our line is by layer, the layer name, the line type scale, the plot style for this specific line is by color, the line width by layer, the transparency is also by layer, hyperlink, we don't have any hyperlink set to this, and the thickness, the material for this line, we don't have anything set to it, it's just by layer. So basically, and then we have a couple of information. Let's see, the start from your line. So basically the first line, right, this first blue dot right here, so that is the start. Then you have the end, which is the following dot, and this is basically a delta. So from here to here, x, from here to here, y, from x to z is 0. Yes, it did not displace itself, so it's 0. And the length of my line and the angle, which is also 0. It does not have any other angle. So that is basically your properties from your line. So how to use your, there is two ways how to use your properties or to change your properties from your objects. So first of all is by selecting a layer. So here we have a line that is set under the layer 0. It is white and it has no width. It is basically default 0. Now this one right here is kind of thick. It is blue and yeah, it is continuous. It is not dashed. So now this button right here, it matches the properties of whatever selected object you have. So first of all, this is a source. So let's say I want to match these properties. So I want these properties to be added to, select first the properties you want to add to your other line. So as you can see, I've selected this line right here because I want to match these properties to this line right here. So if I hover over the line, as you can see, the property automatically showed me a preview of what that line will look like when I'm matching those properties. So that is first of all match properties, this right here. Now the other way how to add properties to your lines is not by matching properties or selecting a layer type, but by just going into your properties panel and just deciding what color it will be. So let's say this line right here, I do not want it to, it still is under the layer beams, but I want it to be red. Let's say this beam or this line, it is from a beam, but I want this line to be red because I want to know that this part of the beam is different, for example. So now if I go into my properties right here, it does not have by layer anymore because by layer would be cyan, but it is set to be red. It's like constant variable. I want it to be red. So even though, let's say I change this line into the layer foundation, first of all, it would have to be, it changes the thickness because the thickness was set to by layer. So whatever information the layer have, it will be added to that line. But the difference is, let's just dock this right here so it won't disappear anymore. But the difference is the color will remain red because I specifically changed the color of this line manually. So instead of by layer, it is just set to this color. So it doesn't matter what layer I choose, it will remain red because I have manually decided that the color of this line is not by layer, so whatever layer I choose, but just the color red. So this is then your property panel. That is basically to override whatever color, line width, line type you a line or an object has that is set to a specific layer. So let's say here, I do not want this to be by layer, but I want the thickness to be thicker, much thicker. Right here we have it. So even though it is still grid lines, it is not the default by layer thickness. It is thicker because I manually decided that it will be a different thickness. And the same you can do also for the line type. So instead of being continuous, which is right now, I want it to be hidden. Now the thickness is kind of thick. That is why you cannot see the hidden lines or the line type hidden. But if I zoom in a bit, you can see that you can see the spacing now in between. So here we have then the difference that now instead of by layer again, we have it to be set to a specific line type. Here you can also change the scale of the line type if I want my dashes to be more upon each other or more far apart. Here you can change it by just scaling your line instead of just adding it to one. Now transparency is basically the same, even though you cannot change it right here. You can of course change it here, how transparent it will be, yes or not, as you can see. So basically all your properties in this part right here is set right here. Let's see what else do we have, and that is basically it. Now what is the list? Here we can see the list. You can see the information of this specific line. So it is a line. It is under the layer grid lines. The what space it is under, it is in a model space. It has a color, this one right here is the RBG. Yeah, RBG color. And the line type is hidden. The width of the line is 1.58. The transparency is 24. And the handle, I guess that's just a code that AutoCAD has for this specific line. Now the points, so basically all the information that we just saw in our properties, it is just listed right here. It's, as it said, it is a list of information for that specific object when concerning your properties. So that was quick, straightforward, basically about your properties. It don't have any more to say about this, except that you can just, as you can see, I just matched this property, so everything this had, it will just change it to be exactly this right here. So that was it, guys, for your properties panel. It was quick because there isn't really much to say. It is very straightforward. You can just pick and choose right here what you want it to be, or you could leave it by layer by layer by layer. So whatever the layer is, it will inherit that into this line. Or you can manually decide, oh, I want to be a different color, the width, or line type. So that what is for now guys, and I will see you in my next video. So bye for now.